Hey there, welcome to SharkCast Potty podcast dedicated to the greatest sporting club in the history of the world, the mighty Cronulla Sharks. This episode is brought to you by Dyson Logistics, the Royal Mighty Yacht Club in Port Hacking, and Jason Hawes of Crips and Crips Real Estate. My name is Sam Shinazzi, OG 2015, 11 seasons of podcasting, having the time of my life doing so. And this team that we support have won 5 of their past 6 games, which a lot of people are not remembering. One of those people is Josh Bolling on the other end of the line. Josh, how's it going? I know you're a little bit under the weather, but we appreciate you jumping on. How's your week been?
Yeah, it's been good, mate. It's just like a little sick, but nothing that won't stop me from potting with you and talking all things Sharkies.
Excellent. So you and I and 2 of our dear friends, amongst a million other friends, were down at Shark Stadium last Sunday. Is that right? Saturday, 3 o'clock, to watch the Sharkies defeat the Titans in a big way, 54-22. It does seem a long time ago now, but we had a great time, as I said, in good company, and the Sharks really did a number on the Titans, although at one point, and I can tell you when, from the 17th minute to the 23rd minute, they were leading 10 points to 6. So we didn't necessarily come out of the blocks amazingly, but certainly regathered. Halftime was 26-10. In reality, the game was done. I know we've seen teams come back, but what did you make of the overall performance from the Sharks?
Yeah, I think that's the kind of game we needed. It had been a long time since we'd really put a team to the sword, and we've had games this year where we've had a great first half and not so much the second half and vice versa, but it was good to see him put a really solid 70 minutes together. A couple of tries here and there at the start of the game and at the end. I'm not too concerned with those tries at the end. I know a lot of people saying it should have been 54-10, 54-6 or whatever, but I'm not being too greedy guts at this point. It was, we saw what we needed to see, and they did what they should have done, and they mopped the floor with them. And I thought overall, really good performance.
Yeah, I think the only thing that you could really be upset about with the leaking of tries was if you give me a for and against argument, I'll go, okay.
Sure.
But otherwise, they didn't really turn off. They were from turnovers, individual errors. It wasn't a team thing. So I can definitely live with it. But I guess fans are very, very aware of the fact that we have in the past few years haven't put a team to the sword. We also have let in tries late, which have cost us games. So I think come finals time, which is just around the corner, obviously you don't want to be doing that. But I think this game was a bit circumstantial. It was a heavy pitch, even though it was dry that day, I believe. It was actually turned out to be a really nice day. But it's been raining nonstop in Sydney. It still is as we record. So no one out there really put in a subpar performance for the team, I thought. I thought overall every player did something really remarkable. Let's start with someone who's been in the press for the last 24 hours. I'm led to believe it's good mail. I can't confirm it, although I think it came from the Daily Telegraph, which is usually pretty strong. So Mawini Hiroti had a really great game. He ran for 200 meters. He had 2 line break assists, 2 try assists, 18 tackles, 2 misses, and just a really strong presence in what he did. It's been reported that he's turned down the Dragons of all teams to stay with the Sharks next year. So hopefully that's all true for a number of reasons. But what did you make of Mawini?
I thought he was great. I thought at times looked really, really hard to handle. His contact was really strong. They couldn't really get him to the ground. He was finding space. And I think the thing I loved the most was just him finding the right pass. Whenever he was put in the positions by the halves, he was able to find that pass back on the inside to Nico or one to Sione, and the kick on the inside for Kennedy, like all really classy, different types of assists. I just think, that side looked really settled. Like I know Sione, bombed one of those tries, but I just thought they looked really good together. What you do with him and if Jesse coming back is another whole question. But I thought overall, I thought Moeni was fantastic.
Yeah, so from all reports, Jesse's out for a number of weeks. They said 4 to 6 originally. I don't think it'd be more than 6, but it could be less than 4 as well, to be fair. 2 to 3 at least. So we're talking finals time. And I have to admit, I don't think that if Jesse Ramian is fit, I don't think the coaching staff are going to choose Mawini over him, just given the way that they tend to pick and stick, the way they look at Jesse. But I will say this, based on the Titans game and based on lower grade form in the past 6 weeks, he's clearly in better form. So it does bring up some sort of argument. I'm just letting the fans know that I don't think that he will be selected if Jesse Ramian is fit. Now, we do have KL Iro back potentially as soon as next week against the Knights. We'll get confirmation on that on Tuesday probably, but he's trending that way. So all of a sudden, the centers aren't looking too bad come finals time. Now, again, with Mawini, that's the best of Mawini, and we've seen him play not as good. But to be fair, for at least as my memory goes, he hasn't had like a shocking game since the early days. Like he's always been solid to man of the match. He hasn't been below that for a long time. So should he be there in finals time, I think I know he'll give you everything he's got. I think on their day, if Ramian is 8 out of 10, then he's the better player.
Yeah.
But we haven't seen Jesse like that for most of the year, to be fair. So interesting one, but Mawini was awesome, close to man of the match.
Sam, do you think if he has another 2 games like that, where he's just assists, tries, 200 meters, do you think there's a chance to go, man? But he's on a hot one at the moment. Do we stick with that?
There's a chance. I will quote the famous line. I'm telling you, there's a chance, but I do think they will lean towards Ramian, given the history, given his experience. I just think that, they might remember the Penrith prelim last year where he didn't play, and he was kind of missed, he was probably the missing piece. So, however, his form this year is not what it was last year. And if Mawini is lights out, if he's 10 out of 10, maybe you can't. Maybe I'm not assuming he will be. It's a lot of pressure on him from us to say that. But the good news is we're in a good place. If Ramian's not ready, I don't know what happens with a broken thumb. I don't know how quick that heals. But if he's not ready, then Mawini looks fit and firing. He looks healthy, which he hasn't been all year necessarily. I thought all the players were great. I love Trindle's kicks. He had a lot of success with them. It was a real game plan just to kick to that side, and then if not attack the ball, attack the defender, catching the ball, and a lot of success there. Nico Hines was great. 3 line break assists, 2 try assists. So, as I said before, there wasn't a bad player on the field. Both starting props, Fanua Blake and Toby Rudolph, did great. And I mean, the big bummer, which we haven't talked about, and we'll get to it now, is your friend of mine, Cam McInnes. Confirmed ACL. Very sad. You'd think he's out until May next year, potentially. Yeah. So we're looking at 3 to 4 months of the NRL season. Thankfully, the season's a long one, and he will get game time. He's already said he'll be back. He has no intention of not coming back. And I think I tweeted somewhere, but we send prayers and thoughts to the rehab gear and rehab people, because he's going to absolutely destroy it. But a very big loss for the Sharks. I see people writing to us, which I love, and they tell us it gives young guys a go, and that's completely true. Completely true. We'll see which way they go. We'll talk about that. But I can't let anyone tell me that this is a positive, because no one's going to replace him. No one makes those tackles. No one runs like he does. I know there's been a bit of conjecture about his leadership and captain material this year, but I don't see a better captain out there at the moment. Like, I know we've got Teague, we got Blake. There are guys that will do it and do a great job, But Cam is the guy, and if you don't see this, then you need to. So I think it's a big loss for the Sharks. I don't think that it necessarily stalls their season. I don't think that it means they can't do special things in September, but it's a massive loss. And I'll say this right now, Josh, not only the people that replace him, so the starting lock and then the lock on the bench, but all 17 guys that play are going to have to lift, because it's like you're losing 2 or 3 guys in one go.
Yeah, it's devastating, and it was unfortunate because we didn't really realize that he'd gone off or was injured live, so nothing was kind of made of it. And then I think at some point we go, "Oh, Cam's been off for a while," and then I'm like, "Oh, he's not on the bench."
So I saw him go. I saw him go up the tunnel, but it looked, and I make this joke every week. My eyesight's terrible. It looked like he was holding his hand or his wrist or something. And I was like, oh, and he walked okay. He wasn't necessarily had a massive limp on him, but he went straight up the tunnel. And then you watch the replay and he makes like 2 or 3 tackles after he does it. It's like, man, you're a freak. But yes, the news came in pretty quick. And then Gary and I did the post-game show, and we usually leave that about 90 minutes after you guys leave. And we were walking out with one of the trainers, and he just went, I don't need to see confirmation. It's ACL. And we trust who it was. And we were like, oh, okay. And that news came through within, I think, 24 hours after that. So he's going to be in the camp. He's going to be around. He's going to be a voice. Let's talk about who they replace him with, Josh. A few different options, a lot of different opinions. Love to hear everyone's thoughts. What are you going with? Who are you going with?
I think you've got to go Jesse Colquhoun. I think just for, if he's going to be the guy, if he's the guy that they're looking as the replacement and who they see as the long-term lock for the club, I think there's probably no other better time to do it now and just get the minutes into him, get the games into him. Like, he's going to get to play start the finals game or 2, hopefully 4. This is probably the opportunity he's been looking for as well. I could make an argument for a Siffer. I could make an argument for a Toby, but I just think Jesse is probably the most like-for-like replacement in terms of ruck defense. You probably get a little bit more out of him meters-wise, bigger body. So I think Fitz will do that. I think, we've spoken about it before. I think Fitz loves Jesse. He's one of his guys. So I think this is probably, he's played, 12 or 13 games this year now. Like, he's becoming a first grader, and this is the logical next step for him. So I'd be shocked if it's not Jesse named on Tuesday.
Yeah, for sure. I've got some audio from Dave Ricciardo. I can't play it right now over the video recording we're doing, but I might throw it in later on. If I don't, go look it up on the Triple M app and Triple M website. And Dave spoke to Jesse post game, and it was clear already at that point what was going on. And Jesse sounded really confident. He sounded like he'd been waiting his whole life for this moment. He was very obviously upset about his friend, but listening to that, it sounded like he was ready to go. And I believe he is. That then leads to someone on the bench coming on. I'm not comfortable with it being Toby. I know it's a very similar position to, it's a middle, but I don't think that Toby's a lock if we want to get old school about it. Does that mean Hohepa gets a lot more game time, a guaranteed spot, or does Siffer become your middle lock?
Well, I just guess you think about what the bench is at the moment, and then you think about if Ero is back next game, he obviously goes back into Talakai's position, so Talakai goes back to the bench. There's probably a spot for him if we don't play Atkinson. There's probably a spot for Puru and Siffer on that bench. If you have Colquhoun starting, you've got Hazelton on the bench. Excuse me. You also have Toby, Uele didn't play, and then you've also got Kafusi.
Oh, so yeah. Okay.
You'd think that Kafusi will come back to start with Fadil Blake once he's fit.
Yeah.
And then you've got Toby, Colquhoun. Oh, Colquhoun starts. Then you've got Toby, Hazelton, Uele, Puru, Siffer.
So they don't
So
all
you've already
fit.
got too many there. Yeah, you've already got too many. So it'll be very interesting to see how Fitz goes about that. If he wants that Puru to come on for Jesse for his break, if he wants a bit more ball playing there, or if he wants Sifa to come on and just barnstorm.
Yeah, so maybe they both can't be on the same bench. Maybe. I like O'Hepper. I like what he does. I think that he's definitely ready for that interchange position.
Yeah.
Not sure about starting. I know we are both going with Colquhoun, but if you wanted to throw in a different option, I don't know if he's. I don't think he'd let you down, but I think Colquhoun's the smart choice. Just on, we're going to tangent here a little bit. Dan Atkinson. Do we think the experiment's over?
I think so. I think we've seen he's only played one game off the bench in the last probably 6 weeks or so. They could,
yeah,
seems to be a last minute change a lot of the time. But I think he's the perfect 18th man. If anything goes wrong, like there's no need to play him if you're confident that everyone's fit, and
yeah,
especially coming into the finals, you don't want to have a guy sitting there that might come on for a token 10 minutes. We can't have that in a finals game against a Penrith or a Roosters or something. Like, I think you've just got to go. You've got to trust your gut. You've got to trust that the boys that you've picked will do the job. That's why they may pick a Puru who could probably slide into a place here or there. But I think we've got a lot of guys in our team who can slot. Like Sifa there can probably cover most positions. The core could probably go to center. Like there are solutions in the squad already.
Well, let's not forget that Nakora will be back for the finals, which means Bill Burns is also a bench option.
Sure,
and he's been great. So it's actually at the right time of the year. They're all looking pretty healthy. Hamlinwelly's out with a skin issue. I'm not sure how long he'll be out for. I believe they're on top of the situation, but whether he plays against the Knights, for example, I'm not sure. He might. But yeah, all of a sudden, Cam McInnes aside, everyone's getting healthy. We saw Tuku score a try, played 15 minutes. He ran for 100 meters in 15 minutes, which is what you want to see. So I'm a big Tuku guy. I don't know if I can find room for him in there, but man, that was good to see.
Yeah, the stats surprised me because obviously I thought he played well, but I didn't really think he had that much of an impact. Not in a bad way. I just mean stats wise, I didn't think he had 100 meters on the day. I think his try was classic of a really big, strong dude. That's what he should be doing. That's how we should be using him. If you've got a lot of ball, get down there, just throwing the ball, and he'll run over the smallest guy and score. Like, I think that's what I liked about the game a lot and the game plan on the weekend. That was that when things were working, we didn't go away from it. When we were kicking to De Groot on the wing and he was dropping balls or like kicking into the sun, we just kept going there and it kept working, which I think in the past we've seen we'll do something and it will work. And then we're like, okay, we'll have to try something else now. We can't go back to that. It's like, no, if it works, just keep doing it. Keep persist with the game plan. It's going to work. And it was the same with, the Tukes. Like we gave him a few short balls at the line. We did it with AFB a couple of times. It's like we can run over the top of these guys. And I know in the finals it's going to be different with big forward packs coming up against us, but
yeah,
I just want to see that continue in the next few weeks and into the finals, like sticking to what works.
So breaking news, Josh, as we record, the Sharks are in the top 4. We are currently 4th place. And I'm not even having a lend of you. We're 13 wins, 9 losses, 3 buys now officially. Our differential is plus 67, which is better than what it was before the Titans game. It's currently better than the Warriors for and against. And it is getting closer to the Roosters for and against as well. Other than that, everyone else is sort of doing a bit better than
50
us.
points
Although
ahead,
it seems like the Dogs, Penrith, Brisbane, it's not worlds away. Should they lose some and we win some. So it's not insurmountable. But we're in 4th spot, and that means there's games to come. So so we're going for Canberra tonight as we record to beat Penrith, which we would be anyway, but we're going for them. And we're certainly going for Melbourne as well to beat Canterbury. So if you're a Sharkies fan listening to this, which I'm guessing you all are, silly thing to say, we're going for Canberra and we are going for Melbourne, the top 2 teams to beat the teams I mentioned. So
we're also going for the Titans and the Knights this weekend. as well.
So what's happening there? They're playing.
The Warriors are versing the Titans, and the Broncos are versing Newcastle.
Yeah, I wish you all the best with that. I think the Knights game is in Newcastle. They tend to lift a tiny bit there. I don't know about Warriors Titans. That could be a bit of a stretch, but you never know. That's a great
The
thing.
Titans like to beat the Warriors. They're their bogey team.
Okay, that would be good because yes, if the Warriors win, they go straight ahead of us on 34. We're on 32, and Brisbane will match us with a better for and against. So get your ladder out and read along with us, and you'll know what we're talking about. It's probably not great listening necessarily, but we're fourth. We're in the hunt for fourth spot, and that's a great thing. And so tell me this, Josh, if we win both of our games against Newcastle and the Dogs, and just say they're normal wins by, I don't know, 10 points, whatever.
Yeah.
We are going to finish on 36 points. So to finish third, for example, at this point, you need the Dogs to lose all their games.
Yes.
How do we finish fourth? Is there a way you can explain that?
So I think if we win both games,
yes,
the Warriors just have to drop one, and I believe we will make it because we have a better for and against.
And what about? And so the same goes with Brisbane as well.
Brisbane will need to probably drop a game, and they've got Melbourne and Cowboys and Knights, but I think Melbourne may rest last game. So, and then you will need Penrith to drop a game. So it's not so much in a hand.
If Penrith win all their games, they finish on 37, and they'll be ahead of us. And if Brisbane win all their games, they're on 36. Although we might be able to. Oh, I guess they probably have the better for and against. Yep. Okay. Well, that's not the worst theory, although it's going to come down to that Doggies game last round.
Yeah.
One game at a time, but holy heck, that's going to be massive. And I think win, lose, or draw that game, Josh. I think that the next week we just go out fresh and play with nothing to lose. But I'm a little bit worried about the reaction from our fans and from the media. If, for example, we get towelled up by the Bulldogs, I'm not suggesting we will. I'm not suggesting that there's any reason why we would. But because it's going to be such a crunch game, you would think for both teams, possibly, the hype on that game Saturday night, it'll be on Channel 9, it'll be on Fox. That's going to be through the roof.
Oh, yeah.
And the pressure then goes on Nico, it goes on Fitzy. And I'm already thinking ahead, to be honest, about that kind of stuff. But we'll get there when we get there. We'll land there.
Look, Sam, there is a world where if the Bulldogs don't win a game for the rest of the year, if they lose to Melbourne, Panthers, and Sharks, they could fall out of the top four. So there may be another position available. So there may be 2 spots available. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a great run.
I mean, it's good for them, like in terms of preparing for finals. I mean, Melbourne, Panthers, Sharks. That's
good luck.
3 top 8 sides, but. Yeah, so
they're probably licking their lips. Oh, we got the Sharkies last round at least, which is good to underestimate us. That's good. Yeah. Man, I believe in our team. I really do. I know they haven't been necessarily consistent every week, but as I've said most weeks now, they haven't lost more than 2 in a row. We've won 5 of the last 6. It may not feel like it. We've won 5 of the last 6. Like, okay, we dropped a game. We're near perfect. As far as wins and losses go, hold your horses for 6 weeks. So we're going to be in and amongst it. And it's quite fascinating. I think 2 out of the 3 years before with Fitzy, we've known we were going to be top 4. And there was one where we were 6th or whatever. And this one's just a bit different too. So it's been an interesting ride with Craig Fitzgibbon. That's for sure. Josh, let me tell you about where we stand stats wise compared to other teams in our bye week with 3 weeks to go. So for attack, we are top 6 as far as tries and points per game. Run meters, we average the second most run meters in the NRL. Only Penrith average more. So we're actually making the second most run meters. Line breaks and tackle busts, we are ranked 7th. So not too bad there. Offloads, we are 12th. And not surprising, given I told you about run meters, tackled in opposition 20, as well as making tackles in our own 20. Second most in op, second fewest tackles in our own. So that's not bad either. As far as the D goes, we're top 6 for points, tries conceded, as in top 6 best. We concede the 5th least meters. We concede the 3rd fewest line breaks per game, which is great. 6th fewest missed tackles. We do concede, and we know this, the 3rd most offloads in the NRL this year, and the Titans had a whole bunch. I think before last week we were maybe 9th or 10th. Now we're 15th. So definitely need to work on that. Definitely. We receive the most penalties. We concede the 2nd fewest ruck infringements. So good discipline. Completion rate, we're 9th. So I'd love to see that improve, although there are some good teams below us who completed less. So it's not the end of the world. Errors, we are 12th, so we can improve on that. And that's kind of the deal with the main stats that our listeners know about. So it's not the worst thing there. I think defensively, you do want to be conceding less than 20, I reckon, to be a real premiership threat. We're conceding 21. I know it doesn't sound like much of a difference, but if we can go from the 6th fewest points to maybe the 4th in the next few weeks, that'll help, I think. It's all about defense, I think, from here on in. The attack's fine.
Yeah.
Even against Souths, we did enough to win that game. The defense is where you need to shore things up, and they have been. To be fair, they have been. They've been pretty good defensively the last couple of months. And we do know that we do play the Knights Sunday week, Shark Stadium doubleheader with NRLW, which should be huge. It's members round. Make sure you get your ticket for that. Then Saturday, the 6th of September, we play at Homebush against the Doggies, and that's going to be unbelievable. 7:35 kickoff. And that, at least the Sharks will be ready for finals as far as atmosphere goes, because that place will be rocking. It'll be rocking and rolling. So that's what's going on with all that. Let me give a shout out to our friends, Josh, at the Royal Motor Yacht Club in Port Hacking, home of the great Galley Restaurant. It's a great venue to dine in. It's a great venue to hang out, watch footy, catch up with friends. Very chill. And we love the guys and girls down there. You can get in touch with them on 952395. Let me do that again. 95239300. 95239300. Their website is rmycph.com.au. You can become a member. You don't need to, but there's a lot of great bonuses there if you do. And the views are exquisite. Josh and I have hung out there a lot in our lives, and we love the Royal Motor Yacht Club. And while we're giving out signs of love, let's talk about our friend Jason Hawes, huge Sharks fan, Crips and Crips Real Estate. If you have any real estate questions, concerns, big or small, I can't emphasize that enough, get in touch with Jason 0410 417 450 0410 417 450. Tell him that SharkCast sent you, and he will look after you, I promise. And he's got about 25 years of experience in the local area. But if you're out of the area, I'm sure he'd even be willing to help you, because he's just a great dude. Big Sharks fan, Sharks supporter, SharkCast supporter, and we love Jason Hawes. Josh, there's a tiny bit of mail to get through before we let you go. I do want to let everyone know that we have done a NRLW exclusive episode. So if you want NRLW, if that's your thing, when it should be, because the women's team's going pretty good now, just go to the last episode before this, and there's interviews with Jacinta Carter, there's interviews with Brooke Anderson, interviews with Tony Herman. I also tell you a few stats and figures and that kind of stuff about the game coming up and the game that just was. So about 35 minutes of content there for you, all about the NRLW. I love doing that with the club. It's a bit of a collaboration with them. And Josh, those women are so, I don't want to sound tokenistic or whatever. All right, forget I said women. Those people are so inspiring. Their stories, the things they go through to get on the field. The team is under a massive injury crisis, and they just keep rising and lifting. They're not playing lights out footy, but they're winning games. And I do think the best is yet to come. But the resilience they show as a squad is unbelievable.
Yeah, and I mean, just being there on the weekend and getting to watch that full game. It was my first NRLW game for the year. Just like the contact that you hear is not too dissimilar to the men's, and I don't want to get into a comparison thing, but like,
yeah,
the contact and the skill is just constantly developing, and like from being there for the very first game to even just now in a few short years, like it's so exciting, and it's so exciting to have another Sharks team to cheer for, and my partner getting to watch women run around, and and down the track having, like, if I have a little girl, like being able to show her like this is achievable now. Like 20 years ago, this was not a thing. Like, I think it's so inspiring, and like you said, the stories of what they go through.
Yeah,
still working jobs and the injuries, and I mean, just a quick shout out. I thought Emma Varan was unbelievable on the weekend.
I may have said lights out. They haven't been lights out. She has been lights out, and I've been someone who's probably been slightly critical in the sense of her having this massive rep and sometimes not living up to it in years gone by. But this year she has just been unbelievable. Like, best play every week, a joy to watch, and she will be a massive reason why they go far in this comp. And like, let's not sugarcoat it. Like, the Roosters and Broncos are leaps ahead in recruitment, in, I'm guessing, finances and environment, etc. Yeah, they're hoarding all the talent. But I'm telling you, like, if our team gets close enough, they're going to give it a real crack. And on their day, when they complete and when they stick to a plan, they're top notch. So it's been a blast working with them, and shout out to Troy and to Zoe and to all of our other friends at the Sharks who have helped with that. But really inspiring stuff. And I don't mean that in some sort of token way.
Yeah.
I would say it about the men's, but the men's about. Like, I don't need to say that. Like, what they go through. But anyway, if you want to get some NRL dub, don't think we're ignoring the code. It's got its own episode every week. So,
and we got another superstar forward back from what we thought was going to be another year off. I mean, first game back after 11 weeks after having a baby? Like,
I think so.
Come on.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. And she wanted to play 2 weeks ago, apparently.
Yeah.
Like,
the line they kept giving me, and I can say this now, she's out in the field, was, we're doing everything we can not to get her to play. From testing to psychological to everything. And she just passed every test from every expert outside of the club, inside the club, and they couldn't hold her back anymore. So she'll obviously only get better the more she plays. And there's a sneaky suspicion as we go to air, as we record, that Jada Taylor may get her shot this week. She's 18th player this week. And I did see her in deep conversations with coaching staff. I did not get to see them train. She had her boots with her. It has been week to week, but I think we're getting closer. It could be this week. I'm not saying it will be. It could be. They're playing at 1:45 Sydney time in Hamilton. Big road trip for them against the Warriors. So keep your eyes on that. Yeah. A bit of mail. Sue has been in touch and said, sending love and best wishes to Captain Cam. Devastated for him and the team. Wishing him a speedy recovery from your devoted Adelaide members, Sue, Kathy, and Brett. Up. So that's particularly nice from Sue. Thank you so much. Chad has been in touch, and he said, horrible news to hear about Cam McInnes. Terrible news for him and his family. Not great for the Sharks either. But I would argue it does give someone else an opportunity, and we may play a slightly different way. He also says Hiroti had a super game last Saturday, and even if KL is right to go against the Knights, I'd consider leaving Hiroti there to partner Iro and move Sifa to the bench. I think Jesse Colquhoun is a moral for the 13 jumper, and he brings a different energy to the team. And if Sifa is on the bench, he needs to play the most minutes possible. I really hope Fitz does not see the need to name Atkinson at 14. And Chad's bench would be Talakai, Hazelton, Rudolph, and BHU, which is a monster bench. That does depend, he says, on Kafusi returning. So his team to play the Knights, we love getting teams. The team playing Knights would be Kennedy, Katoa, Hiroti, Iro, Mulatalo, Trindle, Hines, AFB, Brayley, Kafusi, Burns, Wilton, Colquhoun, Talakai, Hazelton, Rudolph, and BHU. He says, thanks for the podcast. All the best. And that's from Chad Shark. Thank you so much, Chad Shark. On what you just wrote, what caught my eye? Yeah, I don't think there's no feeling that when KL's back, Sifa will shift to the other side, is there?
I don't think so. He hasn't really played that side as well much. He's been predominantly a left-sided player whenever he's played there. So then you don't need to. You have Hiroti.
Yes, which is what Chad Shark is saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Appreciate all that. Thanks so much for your support. Very much appreciated. Shout out to Roger, who's been in touch, and I'll reply to you personally, my friend. And this is from Neil. I don't think we've touched Neil's email. Very happy with the performance against the Titans. Nice to be able to enjoy a good flogging. It's been a while. Wilton successfully stripping the ball against the Titans swung the momentum to us. I was worried after the loss to the Dragons we couldn't change momentum in games. That was good proof we could. Bombing to the corner was great. We need to continue these smart plays to compete with the best. He says, what about Nico? He wasn't just brilliant in attack. His defense can't be overlooked. You pointed out how many tackles he makes, try savers too. I haven't heard too many others acknowledging him. I saw Nico embracing Cam after the game. It made me realize how close they are and how quickly things can change. Our tough, gutsy leader is going to be missed. Fitz will challenge the team to step up in his absence. Looking forward to Hines, Wilton, Ronaldo, and Bradley leading the way. I watch all your episodes on YouTube, and SharkCast has proven to be the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. Thanks for entertaining us. Up, Cronulla, Neil. So special words from Neil. Appreciate that. And just as a shout out, because Josh doesn't know what that means, that is a reference from the legendary Canadian wrestler who you would have heard of, Bret the Hitman Hart. And he always declared himself the best there was, the best there is, the best there ever will be. And so if Neil is calling SharkCast that, we can only be thankful and appreciative of your thoughts on what you have said. We agree with everything you've said. On Nico's defense, yes, we talk about his defense, and yes, we mention he does do a lot. I will say this, though, Neil. A couple of times he would have liked back in that first half against the Titans, right in front of Josh and I and Claudia and Alex. And, yeah, I think it was at both tries, Josh. Definitely one try.
The first one was the intercept, and the second one he just shot out at Kieran Foran. I think.
Sorry, so that
for no reason.
So yeah, forget the intercept. Sorry. The one where he shot out, I think he would need to have that back because that happens. I'm not selling the guy out in the river. It happens, but like that was just the thought was there. If he shuts it down, happy days. But I think you got to get that right, otherwise you see what can happen. So it's unlike him, and I'm just mentioning it because I don't want you to think, Neil, that he's perfected his craft in defense, but he's a lot better than what people give him credit for, especially in defense.
Absolutely.
I thought he was great all round. He's going to have to be great for us to go far, and he has been great the last few months. He's had a pretty solid year. I mean, there's always knives out for him. We know this from the media, from our own fans, and I'm okay with that when he's down on form, but he hasn't been down on form for a while, and that's the reason why we're winning games. So we like the guy, and we definitely call him out when he's doing good things. That's for sure. I appreciate
you. He had a really good year, Sam.
He has.
his try assists. He's scored the most tries he's ever scored in a year for us, and
I think second most line break assists. Might be the most by now. I'm not sure.
he has the most. He has the most, and he also
most.
has the second most points in the NRL as well. Now that might change over the course of a bye weekend, but I think he's had a really good year. Like he's had some moments, like clutch moments that he would like back, but I think overall he's had a really, really strong year. And I think probably just people's expectations. I think sometimes are pretty skyrocketing high.
Paul was in touch. I don't think we have. Oh, maybe we have read this one. No, sorry, Paul. We've read this one. We'll just send out our best wishes to Paul. Although I don't know if Josh had his thoughts on this one. Let's run this by you, Josh. It's from Paul. Okay. I think I've answered it already. He said, thoughts on the club squad moving forward. Keen to see what you think. He definitely thinks the roster needs a revamp. This is who he's moving on, okay? I'll go through it slowly. Katoa, Hamlin-Welly, Kennedy, Ramian, McInnes. So Paul's looking to move on Katoa, Hamlin-Welly, Kennedy, Ramian, McInnes. It's quite a few players.
Yeah.
He's looking to re-sign Stone Street, Hohepa, and Colquhoun. And a couple of players he wouldn't mind chatting with would be Jaden Campbell and Sloan from the Drags. And he's also looking for the emergence of Sam McCulloch and Michael Gabriel from the lower, younger grades. So, Katoa, moving on or keeping?
Biasly, I'm keeping. But I understand that. That's
Hamlin-Welly?
I'd be happy to. I would. It's frustrating because he has these games where you go, man, he's still got it. But I think just for probably the pay packet, I would probably let him go.
Will Kennedy?
If he signs a 1 year, I'd keep him. Otherwise, no.
Jesse and Ramian?
I'd probably let go as well. I think we've got some good centers coming through.
And we know you're going to keep Jesse Colquhoun.
Yep.
Would you talk with Jaden Campbell?
Absolutely. I would. Depending on price and all that sort of thing. And if you would want to play fullback, because that's the only spot we have for him. So it would be either fullback or no.
And would you want to talk to Sloan from the Dragons?
No.
Okay. And how far off do you think the lower graders are? For example, your Sam McCullochs and those guys. Do you think they're next year or year after?
Well, McCulloch is a forward, so yeah, I think
he
probably So he probably needs a little bit more time than the outside backs, and I think like we're quite strong there at the moment. So I'd be willing to give him another 18 months potentially. If he's ready next year and there's injuries or there's opportunity, sure. I think Gabriel would probably be close to ready next year, though.
Yep. Okay, that's from Paul. Always appreciate hearing from Paul. So that's what's going on in SharkCast land. We don't have a marathon for you today for lots of different reasons, but we definitely wanted to get together and talk about our great club. Josh, we have the bye. We're going to enjoy the bye. Couple of bumper games tonight as we record. People will probably listen to this after we record, but some bumper games tonight. Let's talk about that briefly because we are SharkCast and not other casts. But do you think Canberra can beat Penrith?
I think they can. I think it'll depend on, Penrith will be stinging from last week from that controversial ending. So I'm just Canberra coming off a bye, I believe. So that makes it really interesting if they've freshened up or if they're a step behind. I do think Canberra can win, though. I honestly, that's a toss of the coin. I think it's going to be an absolute ripper, though. Like I can't wait for that game. But we're obviously hoping that Canberra win and win well as a Sharks fan.
Yes, we are. We are. And I have to think that Melbourne can beat Canterbury. I guess the question is, do you think Canterbury can beat Melbourne?
My head says Melbourne, but I just have this sneaky, it's like this is backs against the wall. People starting to doubt the Dogs, old Dogs of war mentality. There's something there. I think I think they can win. I don't think they will. Like, gun to my head, I think if Pappenhausen plays, Munster goes back to 6. They've got Grant. They've got Harry Grant. You know, I think they'll have too many points for the Dogs. I think the Dogs will be spirited and they'll have a crack. But I just think there's so many points to that Melbourne side. Xavier Coates just kicked to him as a cheat code.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. I think it's that sort of thing where if they're, I mean, I hate to talk this way about teams, but if they're the real deal, if they're everything that people say that they are, then they'll go super close. If they don't win, they'll go super close. I think if there's more than 10 points in it, maybe, or if it's just a dominant performance by Melbourne, I think you do start asking questions. And I'm not putting shade on the Dogs. Like, they've had a remarkable year. There's a long way to go. Anything can happen. They can definitely win the comp from the position they're in.
Yep.
But just with the player changes and their current couple of last weeks, if they were to lose tonight by a little bit, I'd be
a little worried,
a little bit concerned. Yeah, as a fan, I would be.
Can you believe the chopping and changing this late into the season? Like, putting Reid Marnie, who is a starting 9, he is not an impact guy. Bailey Haywood is an impact guy. He can play 6 positions. And then Toby Sexton, who everyone said couldn't have a try assist. Well, they're winning games. Who cares if he's getting try assists?
From this point, for it to be a success and the right move, they have to win the comp. If they don't win the comp, then it's a failed move. And that's just, I'm gonna stay on that argument, because there's no other argument to be had. You can tell me that you saw this coming and no. You're winning games. You're coming first. You're literally in first place. And you not only replace your halfback, you replace your hooker. I mean, if old mate was still giving away 1 million penalties, sure, but he's cleaned that up quite a lot. I know he's still a pain in the butt, but he was nothing like what he was, to his credit. And with Sexton, like, you know, at the Sharks, we've seen a lot of players in that kind of mold where they're just catch, pass, kick guys. They're not superstars.
Chad Townsend.
There's Chad. I was thinking of like a Jeff Robson, you know, like he's played in grand finals, like just that guy who can do a job for you. And okay, you're not going to base your season around him, but you know he's not going to let you down. He's going to do what he needs to do. That's who Toby Sexton is. And I just find it remarkable that they're going to give the keys to a kid, which I don't think is fair for the kid, but also to a kid who's kind of unproven with this raw natural ability. Yeah, he sort of reminds me of like a Wade Graham or something. Yeah, as a 7, it's like, and he's had some nice touches and he's had some not nice touches. It hasn't been disaster. Like, they haven't been horrible, but I just don't understand the thought behind it. And as I have now repeated, which I don't like repeating myself, but they're going to need to win it for it to be successful. Otherwise, it's going to be looked upon for the next 100 years. What the hell? Why'd you do that? What happened?
Yep. It's a potential blowing up of a successful season. Like, it honestly is. And Dogs fans will tell you that it's all about the future and it's the next 3 years. It's not now. It's like, but you could have won now. You could have won now.
It's not about the future. The future is putting this guy at 14 if you need to. If you really want him in your team, then put him at 14 and let him come on and do what he does. That's fine. But if you're coming first, it's not about the future. It's about now. And if you're content with losing a prelim or week 2 and then going, but next year we got it. It's like, well, look at the Sharks. The Sharks thought last year this was the year, and maybe it still will be. But at the moment, we've just snuck into 4th with games to come. We could be 7th by the end of the week, or we could be 4th. I don't know. But point is, it's not the season we thought it was going to be, and it never kind of is. So,
but anything can happen. Someone what if, you know, but Matt Burton does his ACL like in the preseason, you know, it's like the chance was now. You can't bank on everything will be fine next year and we'll have the same run, and other teams that they, you know, games that they could have won, they've lost, and vice versa. Like, I would be furious if we did that.
I would be too. Before we let you go, and I want the short answer rather than the long answer. Last of Us, I was talking to a friend who I trust, and they said this season is not what they were, speaking of seasons, thinking not what they was going to be. They're not really happy with this season. How are you happy with the season number 2?
All I'll say is that the second game that they're adapting is very hard to put on television. So they've done what they could to manufacture it without giving anything away. Just the way the story plays out in the game is it's not, what's the word? You know, when it's not just like point A to point B. It bounces around a lot, and it's very hard to put to TV. So I understand the arguments, but it's what's coming later should help this season, if that makes sense. Maybe when it's finished, it'll make this season looked on fondly.
So my question to you is, someone who has a long list of things to watch at all times, am I starting season 2?
I would. I still think it's worth it.
Okay.
If you enjoyed season 1, I think you should see it through.
Okay. That's good advice. I appreciate that. All right, Josh, we will let you get back to what you're up to as outside of SharkCast, which is a million other things. Hope you have a great weekend. Enjoy the footy. We'll talk to you next week, no doubt. And we'll see everyone down at Newcastle at Cronulla, which is going to be fun Sunday week. But we'll talk to you a million times before then. So stick with us, SharkCast Pod, back before you know it. If you can like, subscribe, share our work, we'd really appreciate it. It's really quick for you to do, and it helps us out a lot. And that's about all we got. We'll talk to you soon. This is SharkCast Pod. Up, Cronulla. Top 4, baby. Top 4.